4 strategies to get the most out of your 401k plan. If you're not investing into your IRA today, you are literally robbing your future self. Do not steal from this person that you love, and instead give them the gift of having your together to benefit you both. A 401k plan is a terrific employer-sponsored benefit for U.S. employees. Over half of the U.S. workers have access to a defined contribution plan, and another 12% have both a defined contribution and a defined benefit plan. The difference is actually pretty significant. A defined benefit plan is what most of us think of as a traditional pension, in which the amount a retiree receives each month is fixed and determined by their length of service and compensation while they were employed. For many public sector employees, this is still the standard. However, private industry has moved away from these plans, mainly because of the long-term cost and obligation on the employer's part, but also because many employees prefer something more flexible along the way. A 401k or similar plan offers the employer a way to support employee retirement savings without the long-term responsibility, and also gives the employee the flexibility to change employment throughout their lifetime and keep their plans. Employees contribute part of their salary to the 401k account, and then the employer often matches a portion of the employee contribution. In this structure, the employee benefits from making retirement savings with pre-tax income and then receiving a return due to the employer contribution. Since all contributions and earnings are untaxed until retirement, the fund can grow positively, especially if the worker starts early and leaves the funds untouched. Now, like all investing, one of the best things you can do is to start contributing now as early as possible for maximum impact. The best approach to your 401k plan is to contribute generously and leave the money alone for as long as possible. In a 401k plan, contribute up to $22,500 as of this year per year. If you're age 50 or more, you can add another $7,500 per year. That limit is in place no matter how many employers you work for during that year. If your employer also contributes to the account, and many do, the total combined contributions is $67,500 or $73,500 for workers over the age of 50. However, total contributions can't be more than your total annual compensation. Starting early means that you have more time to save tax-free for your retirement. For example, suppose you contribute the maximum of $22,500. And by the way, as an aside, this amount does get adjusted periodically for inflation. So let's say you did the maximum investment for 30 years starting at the age of 40. The total you contribute over that period is $675,000. Suppose instead that you started at age 30 and still made the maximum contribution every single year. The total contribution is now $900,000. But that doesn't include potential employer contributions or your investment gains. By starting early, you give the principal more time to appreciate and for that snowball to get started and exponentially grow. Even with a modest 5% increase in value, that account will grow much faster if you start sooner. The initial $22,500 earns, let's say, around $1,100 the first year, becoming $23,625. Remember, you're probably also getting some matching value from your employer. The following year, you add another $22,500, and the total balance at a 5% return grows by $2,306. And again, don't miss out on the free employer match money. Probably the biggest mistake an employee can make is investing less than the amount that the employer will match. Now, there is no benchmark, and every company decides its own protocol, so make sure you know the details of the company that you're working with. If your company offers a 50% match of the first 10% of your income that you contribute, ensure that you contribute at least that much. Take advantage of it. For example, suppose you can receive a 50% match up to 10% and your income is $100,000. If you divert $10,000 aka 10% of your annual income, into the retirement account. The employer will add an additional $5,000. None of that money is subject to federal income taxes, and most states follow the federal rules in this case. Before you even hit the market returns to your account, you've already made a 50% return just by getting your employer to match that 50%, that extra $5,000 in this case. Additionally, pay attention to how your money is invested in your 401k. Your retirement account is an investment fund for you to allocate optimally for your personal goals. Of course, the investment horizon depends on when you plan to retire, but 401k accounts are intended to be long-term funds for yourself. Most employer-sponsored programs allow you to choose from several investing options and will provide regular updates on those funds' performance. One popular choice for 401k investors is a target date fund, which is professionally managed to emphasize growth initially, but to gradually rebalance to a more conservative portfolio as you approach your intended retirement date. This strategy hopefully supports maximizing the return, but not risking the principal as you get close to your intended retirement age. Now, please, for God's sakes, do not take an early withdrawal. The intended purpose of a 401k is to allow taxpayers to save money for their retirement. No surprise there, right? But since few private industry workers still have the promise of a traditional pension that maybe we saw in previous generations, the federal government is fully endeavoring to encourage these accounts to supplement your Social Security benefits. However, there are some circumstances in which you may need to consider a hardship withdrawal or even a loan from your retirement account. Early withdrawal penalties are steep for a reason. If you withdraw your money from your 401k account before the age of 59.5, you will pay taxes on the amount at your current tax rate, plus a penalty of 10% of the withdrawal amount. Here's what that looks like in a painful example. Let's say you want to withdraw $50,000. Taxes at 23% federal and 3% state would be $13,000. Federal withdrawal penalty at 10%, $5,000. Net withdrawal, $27,000 out of your $50,000 that you wanted to receive. Ooh, that is brutal. So keep those fees and taxes in mind unless it's absolutely necessary. Now, the IRS does allow some exceptions to the penalty, but you will still pay the taxes due at that time. The exceptions apply if the account holder dies or is completely disabled or must divert a part of their account to a spouse or a partner as part of a divorce or similar event. You may also withdraw funds without penalty if you have unreimbursed medical expenses above 10% of your AGI. Probably best to talk to your accountant about that because that's starting to get into the weeds a little bit. Perhaps even more significant than the taxes and the penalty is that you reduce the amount of money you have working for you in your retirement account. And that money is what you are saving for your retirement years. This aspect is also applicable if you take a loan against your 401k rather than an actual withdrawal. Financial experts will typically prefer that you take a loan both to avoid the penalty, to increase the potential for resuming your savings discipline. Many plans allow participants to take loans against their 401k accounts for all kinds of different reasons, and some without even requiring an explanation. In most cases, these are not considered withdrawals at all, so there's no tax and there is no penalty to pay most of the time. Instead, the employee makes payments back to the account over a specified time and pays interest to the account as well. The first is that many participants with loans stop contributing during their loan payment period, and some plans require this interruption. And the second big one is that the borrowed money isn't invested and so it isn't able to appreciate, which again is the goal of this retirement account. Still, taking a loan is usually preferable to an early withdrawal if you have a genuine need. The best approach is to start early, as mentioned earlier, and to consistently invest in your 401k and let the money grow until you retire. In addition to investing with your retirement accounts, it is critical that you are investing personally on a monthly basis. If you already are, then congratulations on starting a lifelong winning habit. But whether you are or not, the goal is for you to invest more on a regular basis to increase your wealth growth potential and give yourself massively more financial freedom. Right now, I'm putting up next to me an amazing video we made on how to maximize your investment amount monthly through strategic budgeting so that you can increase your investing through managing your life budget more strategically day in and day out. Check out the video next to me now to learn how to budget for maximum investing each and every single month so that you can be financially free ASAP. See you in the video. $5,000 cash in your hand right now, baby. What if that happened? Do you know how to turn $5,000 into massive upside and improve parts of your life massively?